I think we'll get started. I knew this might not be, because this was a call that we talked about 2 weeks ago. I wasn't sure how many people would remember or have time to come on. When we had our kickoff in on January 8th, and on Saturday, January 8th, we had about an hour meeting, and it was all about what we were doing with this 90-day sprint, what we were hoping to get out of it, the goals we were setting for everyone. Let me just mute that out. So again, today, I asked everybody at that meeting what they wanted going forward as far as additional meetings, and it was pretty well a consensus. They didn't want a lot more meetings because we already had Mondays with Dale. We already had Chris Bailey doing presentations on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We have in the United States, we already have our trainings in the evening with Jermaine and with Chris Bailey. So they said they didn't really want a lot more meetings, but they would like a time for us to come together so that we could just kind of discuss, any problems, obstacles, suggestions. And they decided that the ideal time would be right now, this time on Saturdays. So I'm going to, throughout our 90-day sprint, I'm going to continue to come on these calls, whether anybody shows up or not. I'll remind everybody that we have these, but it's just the Saturday meeting is for people to come to basically ask me anything, tell us about your challenges, whatever you want to do. We didn't have it last Saturday, obviously, because we had the Super Saturday, and we probably will forego this meeting on the weeks that we have the Super Saturday every month. But other than that, we're going to have these through the end of March, and they're just going to be a kind of a place for people to ask questions and such. So having said all that, this is our first meeting like this. And so what I would like you all to do is ask me any questions you have, and don't be shy. I know sometimes when I ask for questions, all I hear is crickets because nobody wants to ask anything. But and if that's the case and everybody's happy, then this won't be a long call at all. But what I would like to do is two things I'd like to get through from today is answer any questions you have, and please give me suggestions on what you'd like to see on this particular call every Saturday. And this doesn't mean that this is all we can do. As you saw, we had that call on Wednesday, the call that I was asked to do, that basically it was basically a day in the life of Dale Franklin. I didn't come up with that. I was asked to do that so people would know what they needed to do to be successful in this business. And we had that. We recorded it. It got put into a YouTube video, and I posted it. I think I posted it this morning or last night. I think it was this morning. I posted it into the 90-day sprint group, so anybody who wasn't on that call can go back and watch it. But I think that was a pretty valuable training, because it did tell you, what I do every day. So it gives you, and again, I do things, like we're talking about the fact that I reach out to 20 prospects every day, and I did add to my friend base 20 people every day. Well, that's my plan. That's what I'm doing. If yours is one person per day, but 3 people a day, 5 people a day, whatever you want to do, that's fine. But whatever you do, be consistent. Do it for 6 days a week. Do it Monday through Saturday. As I said when I started this, Sunday is going to be a day of rest and reflection. Okay, so that doesn't mean I don't do a little work on Sundays. I do, but it's work. It's just kind of work that I enjoy. But bottom line is, we're going to be working hard at this 6 days a week. I want you to know you have a day when you can just sit back and go, okay, let me just recharge. Okay. So having said all that, if anybody has questions now, you can ask them. You can type them in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and ask me a question. But let's see what comes of this. And this is kind of the beginning of what we're going to do with these on Saturdays. If you don't have questions but you still want the meeting on Saturdays, and you want just more additional trainings, I can come up with trainings I think will help you. But I really want to make sure that I'm doing for you what you want for you. Okay. So having said all that, any questions? Please don't be shy. Well, let's see what we got here. Theo, I would like to see us discuss more on tips on how to talk to prospects. What to say and what to do next after you have done the initial talk. Good question. Good question. Well, let's start by when you're discussing people, starting to talk to prospects. The thing that a lot of people do on when they're approaching somebody is they. Let me just mute that out a little bit. So we tend to. We're all excited. We've just we're in a business that we're excited about, and we want to tell other people about it. And so what we do is we jokingly call verbally vomiting on people. We tell them too much. The ideal way to pique somebody, and this is what you want to do. You want to pique somebody's interest. You want to get them to a video, or to a presentation like Chris Bailey's presentation. You want to get them somewhere where they can see what the business is all about. And then you want to introduce them to somebody other than yourself to do the closing, okay? And there's a reason for that. We all tend to go after our friends and relatives first, people we know, and everybody who knows each one of us personally has a preconceived notion of who we are. You know, I jokingly say, you know, one of the guys I went to talk to when I first got in this business was a friend of mine that I had all the way back from when I was in college. And he still remembers, you know, when we were out there partying, and there was one night that I over partied and I ended up getting sick next to the library. Well, you know, that's what he remembers about me, you know. So when I start talking about business or talking about an opportunity, and he's thinking about, you know, the Dale that was sick next to the library back in 1973, my credibility maybe is not as good, okay? Or maybe I've had, maybe I'm talking to somebody who knows that I've been in multiple businesses, and they're thinking along the lines of those businesses I was in, so they're not thinking about what I'm about to offer them. So again, the ideal situation, here's what you do to get started, okay? If you have somebody you want to reach out to, you call them up. If it's somebody who's just a friend, a relative, somebody you talk to on a regular basis, just call them up on the phone and say, hey, I've just gotten into a business. I am so excited. I don't know why, but I thought of you when I was doing this. And I don't have much time right now. I'm just going out the door, but I'd love to send you a video so you can take a look at it. I'm asking you to do me a favor, okay? As a friend or as a relative, I'm asking you to do me a favor and watch this video so you can make some recommendations for me afterwards. Gotta go. I'm running behind, but again, I'll send you the video. Is that okay? And once you say, is that okay? Don't say another word, because you're waiting for a response. If they say okay, then your comeback to that is, great, I'm going to send you the video. When can you watch it? Okay. And don't say anything else until they answer that. Okay. If they say, oh, I can't, I won't have time to watch it until tomorrow, say tomorrow at 7 p.m. Okay, I'll give you a call tomorrow night about 8 p.m. and see what you like best about it. Gotta go, see you later, bye, and hang up. Okay. By doing that, you have not done made all the mistakes that most people make, where they go, oh, I'm in this business, I'm so excited, we sell CBD, we have a clothing line that is made with fibers from a hemp plant, and we have sprays and nutritional sprays. You spray them under your tongue, everybody gets so excited, they start talking about all this stuff, and all the guy does is goes, wow, were they off the chain or what? You don't do that. You don't do that. You just pique their interest, okay? And don't be afraid to say, I'm asking you for a favor. If they're your friends, if they're your relatives, and you're asking them to give up a half hour of their time, well, if they won't do that, they aren't friends. They aren't really close relatives, okay? And once you have had them look at that and the video, then when you contact them, the first thing you say is, what did you like best about what you saw? Okay, those are the first words out of your mouth. What did you like best? And they'll give you something. Whatever they give you, you agree and say, that's exactly what I thought too. Okay, and that's what you use for the key. If they say, I was really excited about the nutritional sprays, I was too. I was too. And you start talking about the nutritional sprays. If they say, they mentioned a great comp plan. Comp plan is phenomenal. Let me get you some more information on the comp plan. You're gonna love it. Whatever they say, you agree, and that is your key point for keeping them talking. Now, if they tell you they give you a negative, like, I saw it and this is pretty cool, but I don't have the time for this. Well, that's the reason I called you, because you never have time for things. You never have time for your family. I see where you're really busy and you're always working all these jobs and everything, which is great, but you don't have time to spend with your family. If they say, I don't have the money for it, well, that's the reason I called you, because I know at your age, at our age, if we're not able to afford things at our age now, what are we going to be able to afford down the road? So if you're continue to do things exactly the same way you're doing them now, where do you think you're going to be 10 years from now? Probably in the same situation you are now. So I'm thinking we ought to change something up. Okay. So whatever they say, whether it's positive, you agree with them. If it's negative, you have a comeback. Okay. Anticipate the negatives, and every one of them is not truly a negative. It's a reason for them not to be doing the same stuff they're doing now. We all tend to, what is it? I read somewhere that they say people live a life of quiet desperation. There's so much truth to that. We get into a rut. My wife always tells me, I always get irritable just before I realize I'm in a rut, and then I change things up, because the one thing I hate more than anything else is to ever be pigeonholed. I always want to be doing new things. I always want to be experiencing new things. I always want to just take that extra little risk or whatever. That's just me. But the bottom line is, you can't, if you go through life doing the same thing over and over and over again, you're going to get the same results. If you're not happy with the results, then you got to change something up. And that's what we're talking about here. So going back to what Theo was asking. So again, you peak them the way I suggest you peak them. You get them to a video, and once they watch the video, then you say, after you've gone through that part, you basically say, I'm so new at this, and I know you have some questions. I need to get you in contact with one of my mentors. And then you pick out whoever you're going to talk to, and you edify them a little bit, and just say, this guy is he's super successful business person or super successful business lady, and just tell all the positives about this person, lift them up, and then say, I know they're very busy, but let me see if I can get them on the line. Okay. Now, obviously, if you're going to do this, you've already reached out to whoever you're going to do this with and scheduled some time so they know you may be calling them. Okay. And then once you get that leader on the call, on a three-way call with you and the prospect and them, okay, you again edify them a little bit more, introduce both people to each other, and then you do the most terrifying thing you can do. You shut up. You don't say another word. Okay. If you're going to be excited, you want to say something, but as that person that you got on there who's helping you close the business, you just edified them. You told them how great they were. And so the prospect is all excited about listening to them. If you speak after that, you are cutting the person that's trying to close for you out, cutting the legs right out from under him. You're throwing him off his groove. Okay. The toughest thing in the world is to sit there and listen to the rest of the conversation and don't say a word. Just let it flow. Let the leader close for you. Okay. If you start speaking and maybe he's on a certain mindset on what he wants to tell this guy, and you blurt something out, you throw him off his game, and suddenly he starts to falter a little bit, and he loses the power that you gave him to begin with. Okay. So that's so important. Now, that's when we're talking to friends and we're talking to relatives. That's how we handle it. But if, say, you're talking to somebody that's already a business owner, somebody that is already successful, whether I don't care whether it be a business person, a doctor, a lawyer, a politician, whatever it is, if they're successful at something, then when you approach them for this business, and approach everybody, guys, approach everybody, you'll be amazed who is looking for another income stream. And when you meet with these type of people, you start out by complimenting them. You go, hey George, I've just joined a new opportunity. I am so excited. When this all happened, I thought you jumped into my mind. You've always been so successful. You've always been somebody I have respected because of the way you take charge of things. You're one of those people that I always tell other people about. Man, I wish I could be more like him or her. And so you kind of lift them up a little bit, make them feel good, and go, I would love you to do me a favor. If I send you a video, would you take a look at it? Because I'd love to have your feedback on what you think of what I'm doing. Okay. The average business person, number one, is open to new opportunities anyway, because the average millionaire has 7 income streams. Okay. So the average successful person is always looking for other ways to make money. You've just complimented them and they're feeling pretty good about themselves, and you ask them for a favor. Well, most people, when asked for a favor, will give it to you. And when you have complimented them, then they feel good about themselves, and it just wouldn't feel right to say no. And you're telling them you're asking for about a half hour of their time, so they know what you're asking for. And the thing is, once they watch that video, if they're true entrepreneurs, if they're true leaders, they're going to see the value in what's happening, and they'll probably be more interested than the average person you speak to. And the beautiful thing about it, they're already successful, so they can afford to get into this. Okay, that's, you don't have to go through that whole thing of, I got to check with my wife. That's code for I don't want to do this. They haven't got to go through, I got to check my finances. They're business people. They would never say that, because it would almost make them look bad, because what businessman wants to tell you that they got to look into their finances before they can make a decision? That's not a great business person. So again, that's what you go after. Now, I tell people, when you get started, first of all, go after your friends and go after your family. The reason I tell you to do that, you need somebody to practice your skills on. Okay, they know you, they love you. Most of them are going to probably say no, but you're going to get a chance to practice over and over again on them. And you're also going to offer them the opportunity, so your conscience is clear if they say no. Okay. So if they come back to you 2 years from now and say, wow, you're making a ton of money at this, why didn't you offer it to me? You can say, hey, I talked to you the first thing, or the very beginning when I first got started, and you said no. That doesn't mean you can't join now, and I can help you now. So again, keep that in mind. But the people you're going to close the most are people that are already successful. And so you have to have that, what we call 20 seconds of courage, to reach out to successful people, compliment them, make them feel good about themselves, and ask them a favor. So again, and then the same process happens. If they watch a video and they're excited about what you saw, you go, hey, I'd like to introduce you to my mentor. Well, business people all have mentors, and they're not going to be afraid of hearing that word at all. And if they think that they can talk to somebody else that's a mentor out there, they're more than open to that. So I know, guys, it sounds funny, but it's easier to do this business with successful people than it is with broke people. You'd think it'd be the other way around. You'd think the broke people would jump all over this. They would do whatever they had to do to be successful. They would sell something to have the money to buy into this. They do the same thing. They talk to all their friends, but that's not the way it works. It doesn't work that way. People that are broke, I'd say 85% of people that are broke and comfortable being broke. And that's a sad thing to say, but they are. There's another 15% of broke people that you'll meet in if you come to a convention for our company or other network marketing companies, and a lot of them will be standing on stage telling you about how bad their life was when they got into this. They grabbed this business like a dog on a bone, and they just worked it as hard as they could, and they've dragged themselves out of poverty, out of mediocrity, to the point where they are successful now. But that's a small part of broke people. Most broke people are comfortable in their situation. They'll never admit it, but they are. So what you need to do is go after people that are positive, are successful, that are willing, that have the money to get started, and are receptive to opportunities. So that's a long-winded answer to your question. I hope that helped, Theo. But again, the biggest thing is, and remember this, you can't say the wrong thing to the right people. Okay. If you've got a true entrepreneur and you botch the presentation terribly, or if your mentor does a terrible job of doing the present, they will join anyway because they'll see the value. Okay. So you can't say the wrong thing to the right people, and you can't say the right, you can't, in reverse of that, there's nothing you can say to the wrong people that are going to change their minds. And we don't want people, you know, I consider myself a good salesperson. And there's a lot of people that I could probably talk in today. If I was sitting there in front of them right now, one-on-one, I could probably pull it off so I could get them to join and pay their money, and somebody would get a jump start bonus. But tomorrow morning, that person will wake up, they'll think about what they did the day before, and they'll be mad at themselves. They're never gonna do the work. When they get their sales kit, they're gonna throw it in the corner. It's never probably even gonna be open. And they're always gonna look unkindly towards you as the person who got them in. Okay. We don't want that. We don't. What we're looking for, people that when they wake up that first morning after have been enrolled, are all excited and are ready to rock and roll this business and just want to accumulate the information they need to get started and know the process. Okay. They are ready, and they are making lists, and they want to know how to approach their friends and relatives. They want to know how to approach business people. They're ready to go. Those are what we want. We don't, and I made a promise years ago that the one thing I would never do in this business is lose friends for anybody. So I'm never going to do that. I'm never going to oversell. I'm never going to use my skills to try to talk somebody into being in the business who I honestly don't think wants to be. Okay. And you don't want it either. Okay. So we're just going through the numbers. We're looking for those people that are going to take this business for whatever reason, and they're going to run with it. Okay. And then we're going to focus on helping them succeed. So again, that was kind of long-winded. Let me see what else we got here. Let's see. What do you say next? And have you done the initial talk? So I think, Theo, I think I explained pretty well what you're asking. If you want more than that, just ask me. But Monique says less is more. You're absolutely right. You throw so much at them, and that you get their mind spinning. You know, we've all had teachers that would over stimulate us in any given class, and you walk out of there and go, "Oh, I can't do this." Well, last thing you want people to feel is they can't do it. You know, you want to keep it simple. Let's see what else happened. Once I had a bad case of verbal diarrhea. Yeah, that's another great one. Exactly right. And again, I can't mention enough, and this is probably the major thing that happens when we do these things, is somebody will introduce me or introduce another leader, and then I'll start talking and everything, and all of a sudden they'll think about something that I said, and they'll want to reemphasize that a little more, and so they'll kind of cut in and start talking. You have just defeated the purpose. You built me up, or built the speaker up, saying all these great things about him, and then you subliminally told the person that you're the prospect, that you don't respect them enough to let them talk, that you think you got to stick your 2 cents in. And you know, it's not that the mentor or the doesn't want you to speak. It's just that we are trying to sign somebody up for you. We're trying to close somebody for you, and we're trying to do it the best possible way we can. And through doing thousands and thousands of these, we know that whenever somebody cuts us off, it deters the power of what we're doing. So just keep that in mind. Let's see. I like that. Surround yourself with fountains. Yes. You guys hopefully are reading the messages on the side here, the chat. So please ask me other questions you want. Again, as for those who came on a little late, this Saturday is all about following up. You know, back on the 8th, we had our grand opening for the 90 days. And then we didn't have one last week because of the Super Saturday. And now we have, this is the first one going forward. We're going to have the same time every Saturday is a chance for anybody on the 90-day sprint to come in to join this group, ask questions, or inform me during the week what you'd like me to kind of focus on, and I can do a specific training on whatever you like. As I did on Wednesday when people asked me what does Dale do on a given day. So So if you have questions, feel free to ask. And it's just not necessarily questions for today, but topics that you want me to talk about in the future. This is the one call that we're going to have through the end of March. This is one call I'm going to come on here every Saturday at the same time. And if nobody shows up, I'm going to sit here for an hour and just wait and just do whatever I do. But as people come on, if they have questions, so I want you to feel good about this. This is the one time of the week when, if I have specific questions, specific needs, I can reach out to Dale, and he has my attention. So Monique, you got your hand up. Feel free to unmute yourself and comment.
Hey Dale.
Hi.
It's so great to lovely seeing you today. Just a quick one from my side. How do you get people on the Zooms? 2 weeks ago I got like 112 invites sent out. I think just 5 people pitched. How is your method of operation? Do you send out a reminder? Hey, we're going in 30 minutes. What's your? I just want to know, what is your process involving like getting them on the Zoom, and just after the Zoom presentation, what do you send them? What works best? I just need to fine tune that.
Sure. Well, I saw that you had 112 invitations, and you know, it's funny. You won't mind me saying this. I saw you posted that, and I remember you saying, hopefully we'll get like 50 people on. And I made a mental note, and I said, boy, if she gets 5 on, she's going to be lucky the first time. And it sounds like that's what you got. So I was pretty close on my guesstimate. It's so much of this. There's several answers to this. First of all, if I invite people, I always invite people. I use texting for reminders, but I also, you know, we talk about the old belly to belly, you know, live stuff. I do a lot of my stuff in live phone calls. Okay. It's just something about, if you text somebody and ask them to do something through a text or an email or whatever, and they say yes, they just don't feel committed to that much. It's just, but if they're speaking to you personally and they commit, and then you follow up with either a couple text messages or another follow-up call before the meeting, that's when you get a much better response. What I would say is, I personally would rather invite 10 people than 100 people, but give them incredible follow-up. And what I mean by incredible follow-up, I reach out to, okay, say there's say you want somebody to get Chris Bailey's call next Tuesday. Okay. Now's the time to be calling them and telling them about it, and being, just like we talked about earlier, always be in a hurry. Always, you know, I sometimes would even, this sounds corny, but I would sometimes take a little jog and come back, so I'd be a little winded, so it would sound like I was in a hurry, you know. And I call them up and say, hey, you know, same thing. You know, I got this meeting I want you to go on, and you tell when it is and see if they're available, yada yada yada, and you get the confirmation there. But you say, I'm in a hurry, I can't talk much about it, but this is something I'd love you to see, I'd love you to do me a favor, all that kind of stuff. Well, after you've done all that, like I talked about earlier, okay, that's your initial. And then immediately after that, I send them a text and say, hey, or when I say immediately, I just told them I'm rushing out the door, so I don't do it right then, because it defeats, but I mean, within an hour or so, or after I've called all the people and I've used up some time calling the people I want to call, then I text every one of them individually, and I say, you know, hey, it was great talking to you. Sorry I was in such a hurry. I can't wait for you to see this, and thank you for doing me the favor. Make sure you put that word favor in there. Okay, remind them they offered to do you a favor. Okay, because people tend to, when they use certain keywords, they will follow it. You know, if they say they're going to do you a favor, now that's one of those things. Most people, if they have integrity, say, okay, I said I'd do them a favor, I got to do this. Okay. So that's what I do about an hour or so after the voice. I actually spoke to them live. Then I follow up with a text. Now, again, I'm basing this off today being Saturday, and they're going to see something on Tuesday. Okay. Then on Monday, I just send them out another quick text or email or whatever you use. and just say, hey, I know the work week tends to make us kind of focus on work. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as the meeting on Tuesday. Okay. And after that, then I do one of two things on the day of the meeting, or sometimes if I've got a group that I really think are interested but might forget, I will send them out a text message first thing in the morning, just reminding them about what is coming up that night. And I'll do that, or I'll do this separately. Just about an hour before the meeting, or, if you got 10 people, maybe an hour and a half or so you got time enough to do it, I call every one of them. I physically call every one of them and I say, hey, I know, I joke about it. I know I already spoke to you about this. I already texted you a couple of times, but I guess I'm showing you that how important this is to me. This meeting is coming up in an hour, and I can't wait to see you on it. Okay. By doing all that, they have absolutely they can't say they forgot. Okay. They can't say that I didn't think you were serious because all you did was, you emailed me once and, and you're reminding them that they offered to do you a favor. So you're really kind of playing with their emotions. Okay. They have no excuses because you told them what you were doing and they said yes. You reminded them that it was a favor. You reminded them the day of it. And you've called them up an hour before and just showed them how important this is to you. Okay. Now, somebody will say, well, that's overkill. No, it's not. No, it's not. If you want to build this business and you want to have success, you have to make sure the people you're trying to get understand how serious you are. Okay. If they have a preconceived notion about you, Monique has been in other business ventures like this, and this is just another one. Okay. Whatever the excuse is, you have just showed them that this is very, very serious. And if they want to continue to have any kind of a relationship with you, they got to at least do the favor. Okay. And, and I even go one step further is for those who don't show up, I call them back again and I go, I know things happen. I know, even though I reminded you all that, maybe you forgot to do me this favor. Just be straight with me. Is this just something that you had a second thought? You just want me to leave you alone, or would you like me to reschedule you? Okay. And once you reschedule them after they've blown you off once and they said that they'll allow you to, they have to be in. Please. You have to understand, well, I'm very much a country boy. You got to be a complete ass. If you have missed one appointment after you told them several times you'd go, then you missed it, and then you told me you go to another one. If you don't show up for that one, you've not only told that friend that asked you that you're an ass, you've already told yourself you're an ass. And so most people, when they get to that point, even if they're not really sold on what you're doing, they're going to show up to that second one because they feel so guilty. So again, that's what I do. And that gives you multiple chances to make sure that they show up for the meeting. And then if they don't show up for me, it gives you one more shot at them. And remember, like Chris Bailey tells the story, he got asked 3 times to join a network marketing company before he joined it. Okay. Over a period of several months. And the second time they called him, he got really angry with him. He says, look, I already told you I'm not interested in this, so leave me alone. And the guy actually had the guts to call him back two months later. Just happened that was a perfect time for Chris, and things had gone south on some of the other stuff he was doing, and he was open for it, and he joined, and he became the highest income earner in that company, and made that guy a millionaire. So think if that guy hadn't made that second and third call, and guys, think about this from this angle. Okay, he made that second and third call. And even if the third call was the same thing and the guy and Chris chewed him out. Have you never been chewed out over the phone? It's not that bad of a thing. Now, granted, we all have emotional ties to everything. And so maybe you'll hang up the phone, go feel a little bad about it, go, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yes, you should